Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm with my friend Callum. You might recognize him from vlogs and things. And today we're going to give you 7 Yu-Gi-Oh decks that are great for learning because,
You need to learn.
yeah, learning Yu-Gi-Oh is good. The reason why we're doing this list is because a lot of today's decks, like Fire Fists and like Evil Swarms, and there's a lot of these archetypes. They're just kind of, they don't really teach you how to play Yu-Gi-Oh. They just kind of teach you how to play that particular, that archetype. So these are decks that teach you Yu-Gi-Oh fundamentals. And yeah, got my list in my phone because we don't script these, so here we go.
The improv in this, come on. The first deck is Zombies. Zombies teaches you to conserve hand advantage, and after making it through your opponent's resources, you have an abundance of plays you can make through your graveyard, like Mizukiing back Goblin Zombies and using Plague Spreader's effect to get it back, getting your search through Goblin Zombie, and then you have plays to go past.
I think it really like emphasizes that you do have to like set up first, which like is a kind of a Yu-Gi-Oh fundamental. You set up and then you explode, and it kind of teaches you like that. I think it teaches you the comeback game. You know, because when you've got like things like Mali, Mizuki, all the stuff he mentioned in your grave, then it just helps you because like now you can make easy comebacks from the grave, even if you don't really have a hand. And like, what did today's zombies run? Like they run the Void Ogre Dragons and things
Now
like
they
that.
have the new one,
And Beals.
Beals, which is a very difficult card to get around. They've got Laval Chain, which helps you set up your plays even faster, and it puts a monster on board that they have to waste an advantage to get rid of.
Yeah, I think zombies are really good at just kind of almost like tricking your opponent, and in the process, like you're teaching yourself how to conserve, how to explode, and how to like counter explode, if that can be a term. So zombies, number 1. The second deck is X-Sabers. This is one of my personal favorite decks. The thing about X-Sabers is they're really similar to zombies in that you do have to grab resources. You have to spend the first couple of turns letting your Emmer's Blades get swung into or swinging with them. And like and getting Dark Soul searches, it's not the kind of deck where you can just explode on turn 1. If you open up with like Fall Troll, Bogart Knight, and like Full Helm, you can't just be tempted like, okay, Bogart, Full Helm, Fall Troll, because
Torrential.
You'll get torrentialed, and the Fall Troll isn't plussing. You're not getting any pluses from your synchros. You're just playing recklessly, and the deck punishes that. If you don't play well, you won't do well. You have to gather your resources first, and so I think that's kind of an important Yu-Gi-Oh thing. Like you want to learn that with every deck, and so this is the kind of deck that really like.
It really teaches you an explosive end game, because you can't win by whittling down your opponent like most other decks. With X-Sabers, it's that one last push that seals the game for you.
Right.
For number 3 on our list, we have Spellbooks. Spellbooks is a very conservative deck that uses searching and putting your spellbooks in the graveyard to utilize the effects of, like, there's Fate, there's World, there's Priestess, there's a lot of advantage grabbing cards. It really teaches you to memorize what's been used, what's engraved, what's removed from play, what's still in the deck.
Right, and yeah, and like also, it's really important because you have to pay attention to all of that, and you have to do a lot of things in a specific order. It's not just the kind of deck where like, oh, I opened the nuts, like it doesn't really matter. Like if you,
That's how it used to be.
yeah, used to be you open Judgment, it didn't really matter what you
Yeah,
did.
you just screw around and still win. You get 6 cards back in your hand at the end of the turn.
But now, like, whenever you're choosing what to put back with Tower, it actually matters. Whenever you're, like planning out an order of plays, like, oh, this Eternity in my hand's dead, but I've got this Priestess play. I can use this Priestess, banish this, use this Eternity, then get the banished secrets, then use the secrets, then blah, blah, blah. Order is important, and reading text is important. A lot of people forget that, like, you have to have a spellcaster to activate a lot of these effects, and
That when Tower goes to the graveyard during the standby phase, it won't get its effect because the chain is resolving.
Also, things like, when you use Spellbook of Life, the monster actually gains levels, which, doesn't usually matter, but it's one of those decks with a lot of variables that, like, aren't really seen on the surface, and I think, like, honestly, you should respect more Spellbook players, because playing that deck it's not a walk in the park. When you learn it,
I feel comfortable saying it's the most combo-intensive deck there is, period.
I would agree. So the next deck is Agents. Agents aren't like popular now. I still think they're good, but that's another video for another time. Agents teach you again about like gaining resources and things like that early a game. But something that's different from like X-Sabers and zombies is that with agents you have built-in boss monsters. You have Triple Hyperion and then BLS and Source. but you really can't drop them early game. I mean, like, you know, in certain situations. But like they're not the kind of cards you just want to like drop as soon as you can drop them, and they're not the kind of cards where you want to drop as many of them as you have in your hand. You want to like get as many, like work your opponent out of as many cards as you can early, and then drop your bosses one at a time. Let your opponent have to deal with each one. You played Agents at that regional. I remember you.
Going off of that, what Paul was trying to say, in a normal game state, there's 4 states in the game. There's the point, if you're going first and you make a play, they have to use advantage that they already have against the play that you made. That's their first push. You have to make your counter push and wait for them to make a counter push for yours. That's when you use your boss monsters. Once they've whittled down their advantage so much that they cannot come back from it, that's when you drop Hyperion and Christia,
and
BLS.
And it's really like one of those feels that agents just, they do so well in it, where other decks don't necessarily, they can't even always do that.
Well, their boss monster comes out of literally nowhere.
Yeah, their boss monster, like, it's not any kind of neg, and it's one
they
of those,
gain advantage from everywhere.
I think they're great to learn, so you can learn about the importance of boss monsters. If you know, too long didn't read, agents are good because you learn how bosses work.
Deck number 5 is Psychics. Psychics is a really underrated deck that it's very combo oriented. For the first few turns, you are taking negs on a lot of your plays, but they're combo based from the graveyard, so you remove this card. When this gets destroyed, it comes back. Next turn, you'll synchro, you'll get a card back, you'll add a card to your hand.
Totally true.
It teaches you a lot of chain manipulation. It shows you...
It emphasizes like the importance of a late game.
Because early game it is an extremely slow starter.
I think that the proof that this is a good deck for learning and challenging yourself is because when it first appeared, when Jeff Jones won, what was it, YCS?
I don't know, something. He played Grand Soil Psychics.
YCS, yeah, the Grand Soil Psychics. People picked it up because like, oh my god, it won. Oh my god, Jeff Jones played it, you know. And people hated it. They couldn't pick it up and win. They didn't know, like, it wasn't like, you know, oh, I just play this card, I open the nuts, I win.
It's not one of your generic...
almost archetypes, I would say.
Yeah, all those...
I mean, like, and that's good. I think that that's actually good evidence that it's one of those decks where if you want to play it, you have to be a bit patient. You have to actually, like, contemplate plays, learn the deck. You know, it's kind of like you're learning good Yu-Gi-Oh! Fundamentals, like with a lot of these decks. So, Psychics, run them. They're good. The next deck is TG Stun. So, this probably is a bit of a surprise because most people would suspect that you wouldn't really like include like, you know, a stun deck in a deck that teaches you to learn, because most people think stun's kind of degenerate, blah blah blah. The thing about TG Stun though is, wow, it's all windy out here.
A little bit.
The thing about TG Stun though is that it's actually one of those decks that it's defensive and like stunish, but it can be aggressive when it has to be. It keeps advantage on like, you know, generic Doom Cal type stun.
Chaos stun.
Chaos
garbage,
bad,
nastiness.
Yeah, like TG Stun, like it can make plays. So it's not just like, oh well, you know, they got over my like 1900 beat stick, I guess I can't win now. Like, you've got tuners, you get pluses. You know,
I really don't have anything to add because it is a straightforward deck, but it's got a lot of different uses in the fact that it can synchro, it can exceed, it can do a lot of versatile things. It's
not so much complicated, but I think it, like, if you play something like TG Stun, then you start to realize why a lot of other stun decks don't always win. And that's usually because they don't have plays. And it won Nats that 1 year.
Yeah, with that guy.
Yeah, from that guy who played that build of it. And he won.
Number 7, we have Chain Burn.
What?
Now, I know
unsubscribe.
I know a lot of you are going to click off the video now, but stick with it. Okay. Chain Burn is it's a really good deck to start out with. Yes, it is, like, it's classified as one of the sacky decks.
Solitaire.
But it teaches you It teaches the fundamentals of chains. It teaches you how to conserve cards. It teaches you on gaining advantage. It teaches you on a lot of different aspects.
It is certainly not pick up and play. I think that every Chainburn player I've talked to, you can check some of the previous deck profiles on my channel. Most Chainburn deck profiles, it's not as simple as just, oh, well, I opened up with like Chain Strike and some traps, activate them all and win. He's played Chainburn, you know a lot about it.
I love Chainburn. I didn't play it at events, but I like the aspect of it. It's an extremely underrated deck because everyone sees it and they think, oh, that guy doesn't know how to play the game. That guy, you know, he's just playing the sack deck like Final Countdown or Exodia. But it does take a lot of thought. It takes a lot of passing on turns. It takes a lot of patience and knowing when to use a card versus wasting it at the wrong time.
Yeah, it's very easy to waste cards in that deck. It really is. Wasting your Swift Scarecrows, wasting your Secret Barrels,
Will lose you the game.
Things like that. Like it really is not. It's not
as easy as people think it is.
So, believe it or not, you can actually learn a lot about conserving resources by playing Chainburn.
You know, you've probably lost like 500 subscribers at this point.
Yeah.
But that was our top 7 decks for beginners to learn fundamentals of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yes. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Share it with your friends, favorite it, and also leave comments. What are other decks that you guys think help people learn to play Yu-Gi-Oh? You know, decks that aren't just archetypes that play themselves. Like, you know, I'm sure that we left some out of this list, so if you've got others, leave them in the comments. We will probably be responding to a lot of your comments and getting a bit of discussion going.
Peace out, YouTube.
Yeah, so see you guys later. No, you know you need.
You go for it.
You're the guest, and I already did it.
No, you.
We have to alternate because I did the intro.
I will alternate the second deck.
No,
go ahead.
I did the intro.
So?